Pembicara dari Malaysia ya? MC-nya siapa siang ini? Valentine.
Valentine, Bu.
Selamat. Pak Wazir Ali juga sudah datang. Selamat siang.
Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam.
Can you hear me?
Yes, it's very clear.
So, can we start? Or we have
Yes,
for the
maybe
participants?
4 minutes. We have
Okay.
a lot of students, and this Zoom will be start by our MC.
Okay.
So we will wait for maybe 2 or 3 minutes more. How are you, Mr. Wazir Ali?
I'm fine. I'm doing well. How about you?
Yeah, I'm good. Nice to meet you.
Same here. Nice to meet you all people.
So, are you in Solo right now?
Yes, I'm in Solo.
Mhm.
I live here and I'm doing my PhD here.
Good. And last week you participated in UNES summer course? Who Nino told me.
I wasn't here. I was traveling from Pakistan to Indonesia.
Mhm.
So that's why I couldn't participate in the summer course.
Oh, okay. Have you been to Semarang?
Yes, once I came to Samara for a summer course. It was from Diponegoro University.
Mhm. Valentine, sudah siap?
Baik, sudah, Bu.
Oke. Oh, suaranya agak kurang kenceng ya. Cek sound
Siap,
dulu.
Bu.
So this is our second year student. Yeah, they're in the 4th semester or second year for undergraduate sociology and anthropology education. So that's why the students are focusing on education, but in subject of sociology and anthropology. So I think your today's lecture will be interesting and become their enlightenment about what happened or what education development in Pakistan. So we will be waiting for your lecture. And
I'll try to talk
also,
about
Mhm.
education
Yeah,
and the educational challenges in Pakistan
yeah,
related with SDGs. So
yeah.
I hope that it
Mhm.
will be beneficial for everyone,
Yeah, sure.
including me, because every time as a student, we also learn from each other.
Yeah.
So it is something that is really encouraging.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah, that's very interesting.
So you are also an undergraduate student, or you are a
I'm
teacher?
coordinator. I'm the coordinator of study program, undergraduate study program, Sociology and Anthropology Education. Okay, maybe we can start now. We will start, bisa dimulai sekarang, Valentin? Ya.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Shalom, Om Swastiastu, Namo Buddhaya, Salam Kebajikan, Rahayu, Rahayu, Rahayu. Good afternoon, everyone. Peace be upon us all. The Honorable Coordinator of the Sociology and Anthropology Education Study Program and person in charge of the Eurasia Lecture Series, Dr. Atika Wijaya. The Honorable Speaker, Wazir Ali, MA MPhil, School Education Department, Government of Balochistan, Ministry of Education, Pakistan. The Honorable Lecturers of the Sociology and Anthropology Education Study Program and fellow students and happy attendees. Let us not forget to express our gratitude to God Almighty. Because of His grace, we can meet today in the event of the 7th lecture series of Safe Battery with the theme Sustainable Development in Asian Community, Education for Sustainable Development in Pakistan, Challenges and Opportunities. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me, Valentin Renkaputri, as the host of the 7th lecture series Safe Battery today to start this event. Let us pray according to our respective religions and beliefs. Prayer is welcome. Prayer is over and thank you. The next event is a speech and report from the person in charge of the Eurasia Lecture Series from Sociology and Anthropology Education by Dr. Atika Wijaya, SAP MSI. To Dr. Atika Wijaya, we invite you.
Thank you very much, Valentin. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Selamat siang, good afternoon, and our honorable speaker for today's Eurasia lecture series, Mr. Wazir Ali MA MPhil, and Honorable Pak Ibu dosen Pendidikan Sosiologi dan Antropologi FISIP UNES yang telah hadir, dan juga student, mahasiswa, peserta Eurasia lecture series yang saya banggakan. Hari ini, today we would very special because our speaker, so Mr. Wazir Ali, MA MPhil, let me give a small introduction about this event. So actually this event is, we call it Eurasia Lecture Series. It's a kind of lecture series in our study program, because it's funded by supporting by Eurasia Foundation from Asia, Japan. So this is, we invited 15 lecture speaker expert from not only from Indonesia, but also overseas. And today we are very honored to meet you, Mr. Wazir Ali, and we to learn about education development in Pakistan. So first of all, I would like to say welcome to Universitas Negeri Semarang, to UNES, although in Zoom meeting, but I hope someday you can visit in Semarang directly to meet our student and have a discussion. And for our student, so our speaker today is very special because he is still as a PhD scholar, and if later our MC will read his CV, he has a remarkable education. I think Mr. Wazir Ali is person who loves to study. because your master degree is in the third time you have a master degree. So, and you love about education. So I think our student is, this is study program, education of sociology and anthropology. So we have the same interest of education. So I think our student will be very interesting to learn about how is development of education in Pakistan. Uh, and could compare or could be case from Indonesia, could be compare how the education development in Indonesia. Jadi untuk teman-teman silakan pertemuan hari ini bisa dimanfaatkan untuk berdiskusi dengan pembicara kita hari ini tentang pembangunan pendidikan, gitu ya, about education development both in Indonesia or in Pakistan. Jadi bisa menjadi sarana belajar kita juga, gitu kan. So I think that's for all. In short, thank you very much, Mr. Wazir Ali MPhil, for accepting our invitation, and to our student, enjoy, be participated in the discussion, and have a nice day and have a nice session with Mr. Wazir Ali. Thank you very much. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you for Dr. Atika Wijaya. Respected guests, the next session is the event we have been waiting for, namely the lecture by Wazir Ali, MA, MPhil. Before we invite Mr. Wazir Ali, we will read the CV of the speaker first. Hello, Mr. Wazir Ali. Good afternoon. Previously, allow me to read your curriculum vitae. However, I apologize as I will only read a few parts of it. Wazir Ali, MA, MPhil, is currently an English language teacher, School Education Department, Government of Balochistan, Ministry of Education, Pakistan. In his educational history, he earned 3 master's degrees in Masters of International Relations in University of Balochistan, Pakistan, from 2010 to 2012. Master in Education in Allama Iqbal Open University, Islamabad, Pakistan, from 2016 to 2018. Master of Philosophy in Political Science in Las Bela University of Agriculture, Water, and Marine Science, Balochistan, Pakistan, from 2019 to 2021. Currently, he is still undergoing doctoral studies in the doctoral program in Pedagogical Science, 11 Maret University. Mr. Wazir Ali has research areas such as pedagogical science, teacher education, elementary education, use of AI in education, STEM education, technological education, policy process, women empowerment, and political participation. His latest publication is entitled Political Elite Influences on Education in Pakistan's Least Developed Province, an Elite Theory Analysis, published in Educational Research Journal, Volume 35, Number 1, pages 20 to 41, Scopus Quartil 2 accredited. Well, to Mr. Wazir Ali, we invite you to deliver the material for 40 minutes.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm Wazir Ali. Basically, I'm an English language school teacher, and I have been teaching since 2010. I hope that I'm visible and I can be heard by everyone. So, I am a doctoral S3 student at 11 Maret University, Surakarta, and doing my PhD. First of all, I am very grateful to Almighty Allah who gave us this opportunity to come face to face and have a discussion. After that, I'm very grateful to Dr. Neb Sukula who invited me for this wonderful opportunity. And it's a pleasure to be here and talk with the students of various undergraduate subjects. Similarly, I also have the experience of international relations, political science, sociology, education, and now my major is just education. So it is a wonderful platform to talk, and I'm very grateful to Dr. Atika Vijaya for doing a brief introduction about me, and I hope that my little knowledge will contribute something for all of you, and we will learn something from each other. So thank you. So I'll start my presentation. Education for sustainable development. So first of all, we have to think that what is sustainable development. Sustainable development is something that means to take care of people, environment, and the resources we have in our surrounding. So, keeping this in our mind, UNESCO has made some of 17 different SDGs that every country has to achieve for 2030. The goals which were assigned and which were discussed in the UNESCO that every country has to make sure that they protect their environment, they help their people, and they bring their people out of the poverty. So this is something that I'm going to discuss in this presentation. So what are the challenges and the opportunities in Pakistan that can help to achieve the sustainable goals in Pakistan? So the most important thing is that sustainable development is something that you have to achieve by doing the practice of meeting present needs and without compromising upon your future generations to meet your goals that can bring the balance between economic growth and environment and sustainability for the social inclusion. So the key thing is economy. With that, everything is relevant. So sustainable development could really take place when a country has good economy and society needs to be empowered. And then we have to think about our environmental protection as well. So these are the keys. So when we talk about different 17 goals of sustainable development, so in that we have to think about the poverty. We have to reduce the poverty at the lower level. So at when there is low level of poverty, it means there is no hunger, people have the food, the clothes, and then we have to think about their health and well-being. So health, well-being is also a part of sustainable development. With that, the the most important factor is education. The quality of education is required for the society. So education empowers society. Education gives us knowledge. Education uh, gives the thinking ability, and education tells us that what is right and what is wrong. So this way, after that, clean drinking water, sanitation, and clean energy is required for the sustainable development. And this way, we can reduce inequality. And after that, the most important thing is to think about the environment and its protection, which is a very big in the current scenario in the world. And with that, when we have all these, So the last thing is peace and justice and social justice and bridge strong among the institutions, so that can really bring the peace in a country. So these are the 17 points which are discussed to 2015's meeting of UNESCO to achieve these goals, to make sure that a country has sustainable development. So the biggest thing is education. So education is something that really gives us eyes and ears to think about. It really empowers one individual with the knowledge and skill, and it really brings the values to, to drive the sustainable change. And education is the only way that can really bring the awareness among society, not just about the education, but about gender equality, about being responsible to the society and being helpful to everyone. And it really builds the society. It brings critical thinking. It really helps to build a community and make sure that community development must be done. So it really helps to build a character of a individual as well. So as we have discussed that there are 17 different goals which are mostly discussed about education, society empowerment, poverty, economic uh, development, and climate, and to reduce the inequality in the society. So what is the objective of these ECDs? So if we have to bring the sustainable development through education, so we need values, we need education. Like Indonesia, I have observed that there are so many institutions. So similarly in Pakistan, we have elementary education, then we have middle standard education. After that, there is uh, high school education and senior high school education. After that, we have the university education. So this way, it promotes interdisciplinary learning. It encourages local and global engagement. Like today, I'm talking with you. So, being an international student in Indonesia, so you could have the exposure to have global engagement, and this way you can do research and you can collaborate with them. It really critical thinking, problem solving, and decision making. So education is the key towards the success. So and these all things all together bring the solutions to the problems, the challenges we have. So education gives helps us to find the solutions for everything, and it encourages ethical actions for the development of society and the planet as well. So if we look at the socio-cultural context of education in Pakistan, so there are different dimensions which we have to know about. The first thing is that, like Indonesia, Pakistan has a very ethnic diversity and cultural practices. In Pakistan, we have four provinces. Every province has different languages, different cultures, and different ethnic groups where they live in. So they have different languages, they have traditional activities, cultural norms, so which are reflecting in education somehow as well. And so among the regional disparities, so somehow it affects curriculum development as well. So they try to manipulate whatever the province has in the majority. So this sort of things are happening. Then in Pakistan, gender has a huge role. So with patriarchal values, which often limits girls' education, especially when we talk about the rural education, and early marriages, and the household responsibilities for girls also prevent them from education. So this gender disparity remains a critical barrier for the education of the girls. Then, to somehow, religion also has a critical role in uh, the reduction of the education as well. Like, uh, according to Islamic teachings, most of the Islamic scholars emphasize that girls must stay at home, they do not go outside, and they just uh, be responsible for the household, which is in the current scenario is very difficult for society where the 50% population is women, and you cannot take them out of the society. So, especially in the religious education, so this thing is more influential. So, some to some extent, in some areas there are some conflicts. So, due to that, girls' education is uh, hampered, and they have girls, so they could not go to the schools. Then, when we look at the environment, so environment is also causing so many problems. Uh, as I have witnessed in our region, there are repeated floods, the disasters which are really damaging the entire education system. The floods are damaging the entire life cycle. So education is also damaged and destroyed by that. I have been witnessing since 2007. We have floods after every 1 year, after 1 and 2nd year. In 2010, Pakistan has the major floods. Almost the 40% of the country came under the flood water. In 2022, almost 60% of the country was under flood. In 2012, similar situation took place. And these days, again, due to the heat waves and different uh, scenarios, these things are taking place, which are really going to damage the entire education system, school buildings, and other things. And when people has to migrate from one place to another place for living, so that costs so much. So that's why people discourage their children to school rather than sending them to schools. They send them to work and to earn something and bring food for the home. Water skills is a water is the main source of life. When you don't have drinking water in your vicinity, so it really creates problems. So especially when girls are going to schools, they don't have the washrooms, the toilets. So it is also reducing their attendance. And due to these things, school closure is a really big problem. Those teachers are also there that they are being paid, but they do not go to the schools. So this is also a fundamental issue in Pakistan that is also bringing the reduction of schools, and the children, they want to continue education, but they could not focus due to such problems. So if we look at the challenges, there are so many challenges, such as school infrastructure is not really good. Floods are damaging the school infrastructures, and this there is no access to schools for the education. Temporary school shelters are built for the mobile learning, but that is not the right idea, because for the long term you need school buildings and stuff to be used, like and boards they are used, but it is not the permanent solution. Non-government organizations are helping people, but still they are not at that much support. They are providing school bags, kits, are providing some training to the teachers, and they are providing some social support, but it needs a lot. Government also doing, government also taken some initiatives to reopen schools, to rebuild, uh, and the community also mobilized, but still the challenges are at so far that has to be built on. if we look at the government's education policy programs, so to 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 cope up with the SDGs, so in 2017, government of Pakistan introduced education policy 2017 to focus on equity, equality, and access to education to achieve these goals through teacher development and curriculum reforms. But still, there is a long walk to be done and achieve these goals. The vision for 2025, Pakistan government aims to achieve the knowledge-based economy, but still there is a lack of policy because every 3 or 4 years there is a new government, so every government has new policies. So government is thinking about human development and universal primary education, but it seems hard to be achieved in the current scenario. So education is the main driver for the economic growth. So if the education indicators are not really good, it means it is difficult to achieve the SDGs according to UNESCO goals. So there is a task force as well to look at that how government is going to localize and enter these programs, especially for quality of education, which is the SDG number 4 goal. So still there are huge problems that could be achieved. So to promote cross-sector collaboration, data-driven policy is also introduced by government, but it seems still lacking the proper funding and its foundational issues. So we look at the role of NGOs, civil society, and technology to promote education and sustainable development. So there is a foundation that Teacher for Pakistan and the Citizen Foundation, they are working together and they are trying to deliver education in under-reserved areas where they do not have the access to the schools. And they focus on leadership, they focus on civic responsibility and community engagement to help the society, which is they're trying to do to promote sustainable values for the environmental awareness through different school curriculum and the stress they are trying to figure out. And for the digital learning platforms, they have enhanced some uh, websites and programs that really is helping marginalized society to get rid of these problems. And nowadays, government is trying to introduce solar powered tools that some of the schools can get the energy directly from the sun and they can use the clean energy, and it could really help also uh, to protect the environment as well rather than using the fossil fuel. If we look at the future perspective, so there is requirement of inclusive curriculum reforms, which is really important for the education, that we have to integrate sustainability themes across all subjects, and students must be aware that how they can achieve the things they need to. So the most important thing is that there must be teacher trainings on this subject, which is rather important, that if teachers are equipped and they know about for the teaching in the schools, so that could really help them and increase the knowledge of students. And with that, community engagement is also important to involve the stakeholders and to reflect the needs and values of education in the society, which is rather important that community must be engaged in such of the initiatives that must be started by the government. So for that, if we look at the recommendations, the policy integration is more important. That could be really enhanced, and we need principles, national and provincial education policies and plans and budgets. And with that, we have to look at the cultural sensitivity that we have to design uh, such programs which could really engage and bring the positive results for the society. And for that, we need monitoring and development as well to develop the robust education system to access our EST and implementations for the outcomes and the special ability of our programs. So the main thing is that education is the key to achieve the all 17 SDGs which we have discussed already, because it gives people knowledge, it gives them skills, and it gives them values with confidence they need to improve their lives. So if they really have knowledge and skills, so they can really build a healthy environment, and they can really bring people out of the poverty line. Those people were living with below poverty line. So this way they could come out of the poverty line and they have a better life in the society. So for the society improvement, education is the most fundamental and key aspect of the life. For that, at national level, the policies which are given must be implemented, and these policies must be for the long term. And when a government is going, it must not be like that the policies are shifted and now we have to start new policy and we have to consider about new things. The most important thing is that policies must be initiated and implemented and finalized until they receive their results. So this way, and second most important thing is that education is for all. So it must not be gender based that the education just for men or men can go out and do a job. It must not be like that. So the policies which are being designed, so there must be that education is for all. All the genders, male and female, can have the education. They have the access to education because a mother has to bring brought up the children. If she is educated, so she can give you a educated generation. So for educational generation, we need more education, more to focus more on girls' education. That could really help to enhance the society. And for that, we need a monitoring system that could really help to know and understand that the goals which are set are being achieved or not. So it is rather important to have a key check on every aspect of the policies that are implemented, that are used, and then those are seen bit by bit that the outcomes we need are going to address and achieve the goals which we have in our desired results. So this is something about my presentation. So the floor is open for questions. Any question is coming, so that is welcome. I'll try to answer. Thank you. Thank you, MC.
Thank you, Mr. Wazir Ali, for your presentation. Next, to the audience, feel free to ask any question to Mr. Wazir Ali. Silahkan kepada teman-teman jika ingin bertanya, bisa ditaruh di kolom komentar ya, di kolom chat. Terima kasih.
Valen, there are a student to want to give a question for Mr. Ali.
Baik, Bu. Okay, for Ime, please tell your question.
Open your mic, Imi. You
Uh,
can give the question directly to Mr. Ali.
Baik, terima kasih atas waktunya. Thanks for your time. This presentation highlights Pakistan's effort to integrate educational for sustainable development into its national policies. It largely frames challenges such as food and gender disparities as external obstacles. However, one could argue that systemic performance failures and ideological resistance are equally significant barriers. And my question, given that Pakistan's national education policy with SDGs, why do implementation gaps persist, particularly in gender equity, and how much of this stems from internal governance failures versus external factors like natural disasters? Are Pakistan's challenges uniquely rooted in its political economy?
Thank you. Thank you. I think you have asked about the Pakistan education policy and its implementation and influence on gender. I think that's your question. So the problem is that Pakistan has making the policies for universal education, that education must be given to everyone, or male or female both can uh, take benefit of the education policies. But the problem is when if you comparatively look at the Muslim countries, so rather than Indonesia and Malaysia, all of the Muslim countries has a man-based society where male has the dominance. So when there is a male dominance in the society, so it is obvious that they are trying to manipulate all of the resources for themselves. So society through different hurdles stop women to go to the job, or they try to make sure that they stay at home. So it is a big threat in these countries. So that's why the women empowerment is very lower in those countries. And when we talk about Pakistan, so Pakistan has different issues. Like Pakistan has been involved in different wars in 1980s. So there are two provinces where we have Pashtun population, mostly the Pashtun population. And with that, we have a tribal belt in Balochistan. So over there, to the influence of tribal society and the cultural values, and in some areas, so that's why women were protected and they were asked to stay at home. So for last 40 years, the situation is almost similar. So it is hard for them to go out in those regions. But few regions have made a lot of progress, especially when we talk about the province of Punjab or the Sindh province or the urban areas. Over there, you see that girls are going to the schools, women are going to the job. The key thing is when there are policies to achieve the sustainable development goals, so why they are not implemented? So there is some negligence from the government, and then few aspects from society. So also harming women not to be at the higher education or to go to schools. But nowadays, if we look at the current scenario, situation is changing. Like the world order is changing, society is changing, and people are thinking about education and people are thinking to have a job. So the education is now improving. The numbers of education are improving in current scenario. And I hope that in coming years, the numbers of education and the percentage education will improve and increase bit by bit. Thank you. Thank you so much for your question.
Thanks for the answer.
Mungkin apakah ada teman-teman lain yang ingin bertanya?
Boleh, bisa pakai bahasa Indonesia. Sorry, Mr. Ali, I'm Hartati. I'm one of the lecturer in the Sociology and Anthropology department. I'm sorry I come late for your lecture this day, but I follow your lecture today quietly. Okay. Anybody else wants to respond? Or maybe I have maybe two questions for Mr. Ali. I
We can
have
go with.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I think to think that sometimes bother my mind, my thought about Pakistan. The first thing is, can you explain what is the different focus on the Pakistan government is trying to emphasize between primary and higher education? What is the difference? And the second one is, which do you think is the bigger challenge in education in Pakistan? The state policy or the socio-cultural context? As you mentioned before, like early marriage, low interest in school, and etc. I think to question about it, Mr. Ali.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Hartati, for your wonderful questions. I think that these two questions are going to elaborate entire our presentation. The first question is the difference between the primary education and higher education. In Pakistan, we have different ministries for education circle, especially for uh, school section, we have school ministry, and for the higher education, we have higher education commission. So for schools in Pakistan, we have from class 1 till class 12, we have school, high school, and then we have a college for two classes further that. So the basic issue is government's entire focus is on the school education, that they want to empower the society, they want to spend more budget on the school education system. And if we just look at the province where I live, is called Balochistan. It's a very small province. Over there, government has at least more than 100,000 school teachers, male and female. But still, there are thousands of schools which are without teachers. Now, the problem is that everyone wants to live in a metro, in a city. No one wants to go to the rural areas. Now, our country, Pakistan, is 70% is rural region. Metros are in very small numbers. People are still living in the villages. And when you need education, so you have to migrate from village to the city areas or the urban centers. Now, in urban centers, like if we see the Java, so in Java, you find universities, you find colleges, and you find all sort of institutions you need. So similarly, in Pakistan, there are two or three regions, Karachi, Lahore, and Islamabad. These are the mostly dense populated regions. So people are living over there. Now you have a job in the rural region, but you are not performing your duty. You are living with your family in the urban area. So the problem now comes here. Your children are going to school, but the children you have to teach, they are without teacher. Government is paying you, but you are not going to the job. Now, second thing is monitoring from the government. Now, when you have a government job, you have some political support. So when you have a political support, you just run away from the school and you work as a ghost teacher and you receive the salary. Now, my recent uh, paper is about the political elites influence in education, that how political elite is manipulating education system. So the society itself has its contribution towards the negligence of education, then political elite is also contributing because uh, political elite thinks that if you are educated, you have a job, so you have nothing, you have no business with us. But if you have a business with us, so you must be engaged with us and the society. So the problem comes here that society itself still bound with the political structure of the country. Social fabric of this country is still narrow mind, and we still have, like, you can say that the the population is still existing under the influence of someone. Either it is a tribal, you have a tribal influence, or you have parochial influence in the society, or some sort of social or political or caste base, or a language base. So this is something is a huge barrier that is not going to implement policies 100%. Like if you have some political connection, so you just have to stay at home and you will be paid your salary. So government is paying you the salary, but you are not going to perform your responsibility, your job. So at education, so the key problem is coming at the school education system. Higher education is bit better over there because we have less universities, not like Indonesia that in a small city we have 8 to 10 universities. No, we have 4 or 5 universities in a city. So university level education is better. But if your base is very weak, you did not have quality education at school level. So when you go to the university, you could not perform well. So I wrote one paper about technical education, that there are institutions of technical education. People have the degree, but they don't have knowledge. Because when you go to such institutions, you just go and uh, put the attendance. So this is the key problem, that uh, political influence of the society and the cultural aspects both are uh, complementing each other, not to bring the solution, but to bring the more problems. This is something that is more complicating the situation in the region. So the sustainable development goals are difficult to be achieved because of no way to move on. So I hope that in future things could change. But at the moment, at the current situation, it seems that situation is going to be more worse.
Okay.
I hope that you got the answer for both questions.
Okay.
And yeah,
Thank you, Mr. Ali.
thank you. Thank you for your question.
Valentine?
Okay, next, Arzetia or Rizka Dwi. You can read your question or ask directly. Thank you.
So
Please,
there is a
Arzetia.
question. Yeah, there is a question from Arzita.
Yeah.
So there is a question that what is the difference between schools in Pakistan and Indonesia, especially if we look at the higher secondary schools. The difference I have seen that the difference observed here in Indonesia, that here the first thing is that people are committed with their job. People do not go to school because they are paid. They go to school because they have a commitment with their society and they really happily perform job over there. In Pakistan, the society is thinking that government job is just to earn some money and they have to do some other job. So at school time, they try to do something that can bring some money for them. And in Indonesia, the school education system is better than the education system we have in Pakistan. In a school, there are almost all the facilities which are required. Even they have electricity system, they have the toilets, they have a mosque, they have conference rooms, there are computers, there are all the facilities which are required for an education system. There are separate rooms for every class, and then there is a proper uniform for the teachers, for the students. In Pakistan, for students, there is a uniform, but for teachers, there is no uniform. And same way, like if you have some sort of political connection, you do not go to school. But in Indonesia, I didn't observe such things. All teachers are coming to school. Even I have witnessed that if there is a rain, teachers are on the way to their school for the schools. At few if there is rain, so school is off on that day. But unfortunately, so these are few the problems which are I have observed. And then in Indonesia, it is mostly co-education that going to the same school. But in Pakistan, most of the high schools, schools are separate. Girls' schools are separate and boys' schools are separate. So boys go to different schools and girls go to different schools. So there are some negatives about both of the countries, some positives about both the countries. So some plus points in Indonesia and some of the points which are good in Pakistan as well. So comparatively, Indonesian education, school education system is a bit better than the education system, especially when we talk about the government institutions. But when we talk about the private institutions, so in Pakistan, the private institutions are very challenging where it is very difficult to get admission and stay at schools because uh, at schools they teach you the entire uh, syllabus or the curriculum which is coming from the Cambridge. So they teach the Cambridge University courses in Indonesia. I have seen that all the subjects are taught in the Bhasha language. Just English is a subject which is taught in English. In Pakistan, most of the subjects are taught in English, except just the one language which is national Urdu language. So there are so many differences between both of the countries. But the most thing is commitment, which I have seen is most in Indonesian teachers, rather than when we talk about the public schools in Pakistan.
Oke, thank you for Mr. Wazir Ali. Apakah untuk Arzetia sudah menjawab?
Baik, sudah. Thanks for answer.
Baik, untuk teman-teman, apakah ada yang ingin bertanya lagi?
Izin moderator,
Baik, ada.
good afternoon, Mr. Wazir.
Good afternoon.
I want to ask some question.
Okay.
One of the most important thing in education is teacher welfare. How is teacher welfare in Pakistan? For example, about salary, because in Indonesia we still struggling with that. Teacher salary is still very low here. So how does the teacher welfare in Pakistan? Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for your wonderful question. If we look at the teacher salary, so the teacher salaries are almost similar, like the salary you receive in Indonesia. So almost similar salaries we receive in Pakistan. But mm, in government sector, as you know that if you have a government job, so you can have a pension when you get retired. So there is no other, I think, any of the benefit which government is paying to its uh, mm, teachers. So there is no other welfare for the teachers when we have the when we talk about the difference of salaries or wages in Pakistan and Indonesia. Almost it is similar. Like if you are a primary school teacher, so they pay you almost 2 million, and if you are a high school teacher, so they pay you 4 to 5 million per month. So this is almost the similar salaries. There is no such difference of the salary, or there is no other real benefit which you have. Yeah, if you want to continue your studies, so government can allow you to go and be enrolled at university. They will not pay you for anything. Like if I came here, so just government gave me the study leave that you can go and study over there. So there is no other benefit.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Oke, selanjutnya untuk Hema Saca, bisa dipersilahkan untuk memberikan pertanyaan secara langsung. Terima kasih.
Good afternoon, everyone. So I have a question for you, sir. So in Indonesia, the problem of changing school curriculum due to change in government has become a serious problem. So does Pakistan experience problem with changing curriculum every time there is a change in government? Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for your question. Same situation we are facing in Pakistan, that whenever there is a new government, so there is a new policy. Since 1947, we have been witnessing different education policies. Sometimes those policies are implemented for 1 year. Sometimes the curriculum is changed for 2 years, and when next government is coming, they change it entirely. I did teaching in 2010, and since 2010, I have seen that the curriculum has been changed almost 5 to 8 times. It means that every second year they are going to change the curriculum. So new curriculum, new syllabus, and when new syllabus or new curriculum is given, so it is important that your teachers must be given the teacher training, but that is not common in Pakistan. And when we look at the primary education in Pakistan, so the primary education is the most fundamental education that is going to build the base education system. So in the last question, when someone asked me that what is the difference between Indonesian education system and Pakistan education system? So in Pakistan, for a primary school, for elementary school, there is one teacher. One teacher is responsible for 6 classes. And in class, there are 3 to 4 subjects. In some classes, there are 5 subjects. So one teacher is responsible for that much classes, that much subjects. So if you are a teacher and you think that you have to teach 60 to 70 students in a class, and they all come from different classes, they have different subjects, so how really you can teach them? So this is the biggest challenge in Pakistan, that we do not have the proper training, we do not have a focus on curriculum or the syllabus which we have, and there is no constant education policy for last 75 years. So that's why the education system itself is not producing the graduates the market requires. So we need a proper policy which can run for at least 20 years, but there is no. Whenever there is a new government, elections, new government, new policy. They throw away the things and they implement new ones. And after 3 years, after 5 years, again something new. So it is not going to really help for the education system. Thank you for your wonderful question.
Thank you, Mr. Wazir Ali. I'm interested in the discussion early, and my friends also ask. I also want to ask to you.
Okay.
My question is, for children who drop out of school, what programs are being implemented by the Pakistani government? Because it seems like a very serious thing there. Thank you.
So for the dropout, there are some solutions that government has introduced, that if you cannot go regularly to the school, so you have to for exam. Like if uh, you want a higher school certificate, so you have to go for a private exam. If you pass the exam, so you will be granted that certificate. So then you can be called a graduate from high school. And if you want, similarly, if you cannot go to senior high school, so you just have to pass the exam and you given the higher education certificate from higher secondary school. Similarly, uh, now the government has the policy, otherwise it was possible to go for S-Satu and S-Dua as well. So you just have to pass the exam and you were awarded a certificate that you have passed bachelor's or master's degree in any of the subject. So, but nowadays due to high demanding jobs, so the government has reduced these things till high school, and senior high school you can go for the exam and you can get the certificate. But if you want to do uh, S-Satu or S-Dua, you have to go regularly to the university and attend the classes, and then you will be awarded the degree. So this is something.
Okay, thank you for the answer, Mr. Wazir Ali. Oke, selanjutnya untuk Bu Ninuk dipersilahkan.
Sorry, I can speak using microphone. Would you please do with my question, Karen?
Maaf Ibu, bagaimana?
Tolong dibacakan saja pertanyaan
Oke,
saya. Ya,
baik.
karena saya di jalan. Ya.
Baik. I'm interested in your explanation about the influence of sociocultural condition on education. Can you explain more about gender and the access of education in Pakistan? What is the common problems?
If you can repeat the question, I couldn't get your point.
Okay. I'm interested in your explanation about the influence of sociocultural condition on education. Can you explain more about gender and the access of education in Pakistan? What is the common problems?
Thank you. Thank you so much for this wonderful question. The basic problem is that Pakistan has been facing so many problems. Like Pakistan has witnessing the war for last 40 years in Afghanistan. So Pakistan is a neighboring country with Afghanistan, and more than 5 million people migrated from Afghanistan to Pakistan. Then the internal conflicts in Pakistan and the internal issues between different tribes, different societies, different castes are creating so much mess in Pakistan that is very difficult to achieve the sustainable development goals and the gender equality in Pakistan. Like when in 1980s Afghan war began, so Pakistan adopted a policy that was on the Islamic principles. So women were stopped to go out or to go to the schools. But in 2001, the policy was really shifted and realized, and women were allowed to go for the jobs and the schools and other stuff. So this way, when the policies are entirely changed and shift from one school of thought to another school of thought, so it brings really challenging, brings so many challenges to be implemented, and it really affects the entire education system. So nowadays, Pakistan is also facing so many challenges, like we have a tropical society, especially the environment is not as safe as we look at in Indonesia, that girls can go for the schools, for colleges, and for the jobs. So the society is intolerant, and male society, man doesn't want their wife to go to the job, so they just want their wife to stay at home and care for the children. And when there is a society, there is a male dominance, so they want women to stay at home. So these are the key challenges still women are facing in Pakistan. There are few regions in Pakistan where still women cannot go to the schools, so they do not have any access to education, especially when even if they are living in the centers, so their husbands, their fathers do not allow them to go to the schools. So the situation is still in some regions not good, but in few regions it is very good. Women are working, they are doing jobs, and for the generations they have been in the education system. And from government side, government is also trying to take some measures, but due to the lack of policies, lack of budget, so it is difficult for government to implement its role in the society. Wait a second. So due to these basic problems, it is difficult for the gender, especially for women, to get out and go for the schooling or the colleges. And when we look at the harassment cases, so to some extent there are some harassment cases in schools or in colleges where male counterparts disturb the females and some students and some of their colleagues. So that's why also society is preventing and stopping their girls to stay at home. But things are changing. We cannot say that the education is very lower currently, but improvement is coming from the both sides, from the government and from society itself as well. So I hope that in coming years, the gap between the male gender and female gender will decrease, and most of the students, most of the women will be at schools and the universities and the job sector as well. Thank you, Doctor, for your question. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you for the answer, Mr. Wazir Ali. Okay, next, Fadia, you can read your question or ask directly. Thank you.
Okay, I want to ask regarding the use of AI in school. How does Pakistani school policy address this?
Yes, if we think about AI, so at universities, AI is used. At schools, still we don't have the proper use of AI because the lack of computers and due to the lack of other resources, materials which are required to use AI or the computers. So we cannot say that currently Pakistan government has some sort of solution for AI in schools. But at the higher education institutions, uh, it is being used. And I hope that in coming year, students will be able to use AI at schools as well. Thank you. Thank you for your question.
Thank you
Thank
for
you,
the
Mustafa.
answer, Mr. Wazir Ali. Okay, baik. We have arrived at the end of the event, the 7th lecture series Save Battery today. I'm Valentine Rinka Putri. As the host, please apologize for my mistakes and see you in the next lecture series. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, Mr. Wazir Ali, for your
Thank
Thank
you.
you,
lecture.
Mr. Wazir Ali.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you
Thank
for
you.
invitation.
Yeah,
Thank you.
you're welcome. Thank you.
I hope we missed group photo.
Oh yeah, sure.
Iya,
We will set a group photo.
lupa.
I've got some
Photo
pictures
during
for you, Mr. Ali, but it is better for us to have another picture with all of the participants.
yes, we need a full photo with all participants if it
Oke,
is possible.
silakan dibuka kameranya. Berikan senyuman terbaik. Mr. Ali menunggu. The best smile. Siapa ini yang ambil foto ini? Mbak Eka ya?
Ya, siap, Liz.
Oke. Minta tolong Mbak Eka.
Oke. Untuk layar yang pertama ya, teman-teman. 1, 2, 3. Ini layar yang kedua. Yang ketiga ini, ayo on cam teman-teman. Tidak ada yang... Oke, mungkin klik ke layar pertama. Boleh satu kali lagi kayak bebas, teman-teman.
Freestyle, Mr. Ali. Freestyle.
Freestyle.
Any style?
Yes.
Any style.
Arms.
Oke. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
Oke.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Wazir Ali.
Ya.
Thank you very much, Mr. Wazir Ali.
See
Nice
you
to meet you and
next
see you
time.
maybe in Solo or in Semarang next time.
Matur nuwun.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much.
Terima
Thank you.
kasih.
Afternoon, selamat sis.
Matur nuwun Bu Ninu. Oke, see you semua.
Terima kasih semuanya. Terima kasih Bu Lilis, Mbak Eka, Bapak Ibu yang lain.